Well, we're back. Holy crap. It's been a minute. Still making a few adjustments here, cleaning up some stuff. Got a little bit of time, let some people join in the fun. Probably won't be a super long live stream. I know it's been a while since I've been on, and I apologize for the lag. But I've been super busy in the studio, despite the fact that I haven't been live streaming. Um, been kind of doing some upgrades and whatnot. So that's exciting. Um, wait for a few minutes here and see if anybody decides to join in. In the meantime, we'll get some music on here. Got some stuff to share. Uh, what? I'm all discombobulated. All right, let's see if we can change our angle a little bit because we're gonna need to see this stuff. There we go. Well, maybe that's not the greatest angle because that's going to be punching me in the face, which might be a good thing. I don't know. All right, there we go. That's a better angle. All right, we got the live chat up. Okay. Holy cow. All right. Ugh. So, um, these are the electronics for the Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga diorama, and I'm getting right back into this. Um, obviously, some of the electronics are going to be for the lightsaber. We're going to light that up. It's my first time doing that. Um, there's Obi-Wan's hand with the lightsaber, and I've already got the holes drilled in there. So that's ready to go. We've got some wire here to start that length. And then I got some more wire here to do that. And then we got a whole bunch of LED noodles of different colors here. Obviously, in Revenge of the Sith, the scene that we're creating here that was done by Wicked 3D, the scene is Obi-Wan Kenobi is Order 66 has just happened, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's fleeing from the clone troopers, and they're firing on him, yada, yada, yada. I don't know how these came undone, but I would like to twist them together so they're held together a little better. Let's flip that around. And so, in doing so, I've got some electronics that we've set up kind of on a temporary basis while we're figuring out how we're going to route everything. So that's fun. There we go. That'll hold together a little better. So just set that aside right now. Not going to be getting into soldering today. I've still got some cutting to do, stuff like that. But anyhow, this is pretty cool. For those of you that may not have seen it yet, I'll kind of show you how this is going to work. Okay, so we've got two different buttons. This is a piece that goes on top of the diorama. It's like a like an antenna array. Obviously, I haven't even prepped this yet, just because I'm not there. I work from the bottom and build my way up. But this is the switch for the soundboard that goes inside here. You can see I've hot glue gunned all that stuff in. This is the chip for the rechargeable soundboard, and that's the battery for it. It holds a charge really nicely. And then this is going to be the power pack, and it's got its own switch right here, and that's going to power the lightsaber and any other lights that I happen to add to it. I want to possibly do some nano LEDs, but I've got to get wiring up through the base first before I can really think about that. And we're gonna get there eventually. So for now, I've got the soundboard in, and it is operational, and you can hear that like this. This is the button for the soundboard. It just fits on there. And when you push it, hello there. And if you push it again, well, I missed one. So there's, and then you push it again, get General Grievous there. And that's the sound of Boga presumably falling to her death. Obi loses her and falls into the water with her. We never know. We never find out really what happens to Boga. Maybe if George Lucas wants to get back to us and let us know if Boga lived or not, that'd be pretty cool. They might have just killed her outright for aiding and abetting a Jedi. Who knows? They were just following orders. So anyhow, these two wires are going to go down into the base and then back up through Boga, through her leg, and then from there, once they go down through the base, up through her leg, through her body, the wires are going to come up through the saddle, like so. Let's see if I can. I'm just doing this to give you an idea. So the wires will come up through the saddle, and then it's going to go up Obi's buttocks and out to, let's see here. If we can get that, there we go. So those wires will come up like that. Yeah, come on, Obi. And then into his body cavity and out the wrist into the lightsaber, or through his hand, sorry. Through his hand and out the lightsaber, which is where, just pretend his hand is joined there. It's coming through his body into his hand. And then the LED noodle will be attached to this. And then I've got a 3D printed clear lightsaber blade that the noodle goes up inside of. And that will glow when we get to that point. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So I've got some cutting and drilling to do to get there, and we will get there. I'm glad to be back in the studio, albeit it is going to be a short trip today, studio-wise. This, again, I apologize. Lost my train of thought. This is the other switch that's going to power the lightsaber. So you'll push this down. You can hear the click, and that it's obviously going to be seated on there nicely. But you click that, and that'll turn the lights on, including the lightsaber. Turn it off, it'll turn off again. and then the other button will power the soundboard. So that's where we're at with that. Okay, I'm gonna put this away and then show you, bring us back up to speed with where we're at. I was hoping that we'd get some visitors in today in the chat, so I could show you guys what's going on in the studio. We'll give it a couple more minutes here and see if anybody else comes in. In the meantime, I'd like to give a shout out to Kenny over at HobbyLink International. Guy's got an awesome channel. Please check him out, HobbyLink International. This year I took part in HobbyLink International's Boyd Crompton Memorial. Boyd was apparently a very awesome guy. Unfortunately, I never got to meet him. I've heard nothing but wonderful, wonderful things about him as a hobbyist, as a friend, a family guy. And he unfortunately passed away. And so every year, Kenny over at HobbyLink International does a Halloween group build. And I decided to go ahead and take part in this year's group build. And it was a lot of fun. In fact, I'll show you I was kind of in a rush, unfortunately, but I'll show you guys the piece I did. For those of you that didn't see the live stream or anything, I printed out this Jack Skellington styled pumpkin head. I did the inside with Musso Black, which is like the blackest paint in the world. Absorbs 99 point whatever percent of light. It was a lot of fun. You can check out my live stream for this guy. But this was my little project for the Boyd Crompton Memorial. And as a participation gift, Kenny sent me this really cool coin that he had made in memoriam of the group build. Just super cool. Boyd was an avid Star Trek fan, and says, "Take care out there and happy modeling, everyone." I thought that was really, really cool. It's in a plastic case that I can open, but I'm going to leave it inside, and I'm going to treasure this. It's very, very cool. So thank you, Kenny. Like I said, guys, check out HobbyLink International when you can. Really, really cool site. Lots of cool people there. Lots of fun stuff to do. You know, and the more I'm looking at this radar dish, I don't like it. I know I accidentally printed it solid, which I shouldn't have done. That ended up, it was an accident. I didn't realize I'd done that until after I'd printed it. But I'm going to reprint this guy and make sure it's hollow this time. That'll also make it easier to work with and turn it into the switch that I want it to be. So I'll probably start printing that tonight. And gosh, I guess we're not going to really get anybody in today. So I'm just going to kind of get down to it here. To get done what I want to get done today, which is to show you guys the studio upgrades / updates. It's still a work in progress, but it's done for the most part. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. Let me see. What's going to be the best way to do this? I think I'm going to need my hands free, so I'm going to use my, I call it my neck rig. Cool little rig that I found online. Sergeant Digital Designs. I caught him wearing one on one of his live streams, and I was like, "Hey, what is that thing?" And he told me it's a little magnet. You can put your iPhone or a phone with a magnetic circle on it to do filming and have your hands free. It's super handy. And for anybody interested, I can go ahead and post the link in the. I'll post the link in the details down below. And that being said, let's start the studio tour. Like I said, this is going to be somewhat of a short live stream today, so hold on. It's going to be somewhat of a short live stream today, so I just want to be able to share with you guys what's going on with the studio. So obviously, this is my workbench. I'll just step back away from that. My beautiful, wonderful wife ordered me a whole bunch of paints for Christmas. So I got a whole bunch of new Vallejo paints here up on the pegboard. I ordered some new paint holders for all those. I got a good portion of my Citadel paints up on the board as well. And then we've got our Pro Rack roll over here. And eventually I'll be adding more paint and all that stuff over here. And then, of course, Ahsoka Tano hanging out there. And, yeah. So not too much has changed with the paint bench. Sorry if I'm a little shaky. Not too much has changed with the paint bench, but, you know, it's still a cozy, comfortable spot to work in for me. I'll be throwing away that box. That doesn't belong there. And then, yeah. So this is my studio light. I've got my monitor / music going up here. A friend of mine gifted me some Han Solo Sabak dice, which I thought was really cool. These were hanging in the Millennium Falcon. They're super weighty too. Like they actually feel like gold, which I thought was pretty cool. So go ahead and attach my phone so I have my hands free. And I'll give you guys a little walk around the studio. Actually, shit, that's not gonna work. Let's put on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna put it on my my little guy here. My little cam. There we go. We'll see how steady she is. Ooh, that's very nice. Better than my shaky hands. Okay. Onward and upward. So there's our workbench. Got that all situmated and stuff. Let's see, we're about to fall out of here. So there's the new workbench. And then I got this area cleaned up. I don't know. Some of you might remember I had a bunch of like paints and stuff all stashed up there. And they were really tough to get through. I'm only 5'10", and I always had to like reach way back and up to get to like my diorama texture paints and stuff like that. So those are all put somewhere else now. And these are just some of my other 3D printed works. That's a commission, Sailor Moon commission that I got to get delivered. I actually shattered her in a million pieces, which I was really sad about. And I had to reprint her and paint her again. So that's done, and she'll be delivered soon. Now for the big part, this entire wall right here, you guys might remember, was really cluttered and screwed up. And I got that really nice and straightened out. And so now we've got our wash and cure station here. That's the wash station down there. It's covered with buckets so that sunlight can't get to it and develop any of the resin goop that's in there. And then that's where I cut, separate prints from the build plate. And then curing station, that's my photography box for when I finish a project. So yeah, if you like what you see so far, hit the like button. I totally appreciate that. The algorithm appreciates it. I especially appreciate it because I've been away from YouTube for a minute, getting all this taken care of, and love to jump back into this with you. Now for the big one. So during the process of upgrading the studio, I hit up a friend because I noticed he hadn't really been posting or doing anything with the 3D printer I sent him, which was a Cobra 2 Anycubic Cobra 2 Max. It's a massive build plate. It's an FDM printer, meaning fixed depositional modeling. So it's the big, it's got the build plate on the bottom. You got an extruder, squirting plastic out, and then it moves up, squirts another line, moves up, does, and then when you're done, you got a big 3D print. Anyhow, he said he's not using it. So I offered to buy it back from him, and that's what I did. So that being said, suddenly I had to get a whole new workbench to accommodate the beast that this printer is. And I got that set up on Sunday. I set up the workbench, and that gave me a lot more space. Now, this is 24 inches across here, and this printer's build volume is so large that I had to cut a board and put an extension on the bench to accommodate it. What am I printing right now, you might ask? I'm sorry, guys, I can't see the chat, so if there is any chat, so I apologize. I'm just running with this, making it up as I go along. This is a base for Wicked 3D's latest model for Hellboy. So if you're a Hellboy fan like me, highly recommend checking out Wicked's channel or Wicked's Patreon and downloading this model. It's super impressive. I decided to, for a first time test print. Well, I lied. These are my test prints. It took me about 3 hours to get everything recalibrated and set up. And I'm always like, go big or go home. So I decided, let's do one big giant 3D printed base right off the bat. So that's printing right now. I haven't FDM printed in a long time. And there was definitely a learning curve. I got so used to printing in resin that I'd kind of forgotten how to print in FDM. And so I had to play around for about 3 hours yesterday getting this calibrated and set up right. I definitely could have done a lighter infill, but I'm going to just run with it. It's going to be nice and heavy, which will be good for the resin model once it's up there. And yeah, so I've got some extra shelf space up here now, which I'm sure will be taken up way before too long. Here's a little sneak peek at next year's Halloween build for Kenny over at Hobby Link International. The Switch here. So she's ready to go. And then I've got some more shelf space up here for all my diorama effects, primers, all my Vallejo stuff, inks, putties, scenic glue, bunch of other fun stuff up there, and Godzilla, of course. One of these days, I'm going to print the rest of his body and go ahead and finish him up. I think that'd be pretty cool. And I'm super happy I was able to get my toolbox all set up nice here. Eventually I'll move those, but yeah, I have easy access to my toolbox now instead of it being tucked and stashed away behind a bunch of guitars and shit over there in the corner. So I'm super happy about that. That all being said, we'll take a look back. I'm really stoked on the studio now. My wife's really stoked because there's a hell of a lot more walking space in the garage. And it's really come together. You know, it'll piece together even better as we go along. So we'll have some fun with that. And yeah. So let's see. I'm going to check the chat here. Nobody in the chat. Wow, super slow today. That's cool. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you could, please hit the like button. I really appreciate you guys being here. Hit the like and subscribe button. And of course, this is the base for Obi Wan Rides Boga. If you haven't seen it yet, this is Boga's head, just to show some scale. That's just her head. It's huge. And then I'll bring you up to speed with most of the rest of her. Here we go. This is Boga's body. So you can get a good judge of scale here. She is absolutely massive. So once I get all the wiring and everything routed and cut, I get to finally start sealing these gaps and sculpting all that. I've done a couple of experimental spots here, just playing around with ideas to see what the best way is going to be to approach it. So we'll get there eventually. But the good news is I'm finally back to work here in the studio, and I can start concentrating on this project, which is a major labor of love for me. And I get to bring that all to you guys. These are a bunch of antenna pieces that attach in different parts of the base. So they're pretty much ready to just be primed and ready to paint, which we'll get to soon. And then, of course, this is the base. So one of Boga's feet's right here. This is her other foot. I've got those right here so I can show you guys how, again, we'll get a good judge of scale here by putting her legs on there. So just to demonstrate the wiring that I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to get inside the base and route across here and up into her foot. So I don't have a long way to go, but the wire's going to come down from this part. Ugh, kind of discombobulated here. So obviously the wiring's in here. I'll drill a hole through the side. I made it removable so that I can charge the battery inside here, but the wire's got to come through here and up through her foot. I've already removed all the inner supports, and then the wire will run up her leg through her body like that, and up into Obi Wan Kenobi and out. So yeah, you know what? We'll put the rest of her on just so you can see it with the body on. It's really, really impressive. This model was done by SW3D Studios. They're a sister company to Wicked. So sits on there pretty nice. See if I can angle it up. She takes up the whole camera lens. I'm going to very carefully turn her around here. Absolutely massive, massive model. It's the largest one that Wicked or SW3D Studios has ever done. And I am tackling this monster. So it's going to be super fun getting it done and painted. Can't wait. And I'm going to be bringing you guys with me on that whole journey. So this is what we're going to be working on. Yeah, that's about it. So I'll go ahead and put her away. I was going to make a video of all this stuff, but I thought it's been a minute since I've been online or, live streamed. And I thought it'd be cool to come back and just say hi to everyone and give you kind of a live tour of the new studio setup and what we're going to start working on here. I have no commissions to work on, which is fantastic. I get to finally play around with some of my own stuff. I do love commissions, but sometimes they take you away from things you really want to get going on. The money's great, but you still want to work on your own projects, of course. So there's that. Put this guy back on my chest here. So put this stuff away. I really like this on the workbench. Like now I have a better spot for all my diorama stuff, and my actual paint bench is a bit more free. And yeah, I mean that's all that's going on here. Another thing I love about the new setup too is that this is like kind of like my airbrush / project table. It's mobile, which is really nice. When the car's not parked in the garage / studio, I can move this around, but I made sure that it fits nice and snugly right there. when I'm not working with it. So that's pretty nice. I dig it. And then when I'm 3D printing over here, I've got this little camera, it's a little webcam, and I can keep an eye on my prints while it's going. So yeah, that's cool. So next up, next little project for the day. Oh wait, I do have a print in there, but that's not related to the other print. It's not related to Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. So this is my Photon Mono M7 Pro, and I've got a print in here that needs to come out that does have to do with Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga. So we're going to put our rubber gloves on, and I'm going to show you the process of taking out a print, a resin print. So first thing I do is glove up, because I'm going to be handling some super toxic shit that you probably don't want to touch with your bare hands or get it on your bare hands. It's not good. All right. Forgot to put away this box. Don't even know where that's going to go. We'll just move this guy out of the way for now and replace that with that. And stash this back here. Oh, I love having non-cluttered space. It's super nice. Okay, and then slide my trash can over because we're going to need that. Bunch of trash in there. All right, so right now I have clear resin loaded into the M7 Pro. It's dusty. And we've got some lightsaber blades that need to come off. So let's get these off the build plate, get them ready to be cleaned up. Now, I hollowed these out in my slicer. When you pull your build plate off, you're going to have some resin drip, and that's why I like to have some paper towels ready to go down at the bottom. And you're going to take your paint scraper. You'll see the supports on there that are holding them up. Just take your paint scraper and pop those off. And I like to just kind of gently scrape away any excess resin off my build plate before I put it back on the printer. Okay. I keep clear resin in this one, just for any clear pieces. Sometimes I do have to take it out, clean it up, put some gray resin in there that I use. I just use any cubic standard gray for most of my printing. You're going to paint over everything anyway, so pick a color. It's not going to be the final product. And then put my cover back on. I have this system where there are both my resin printers are in fireproof enclosures, and that is to make it possible for me to ventilate any toxic fumes that the printing process creates. And there's another project. This is just a side project for me that I'm going to be playing with. And it's looking pretty good. If you check out some of my other live streams, I already painted this one before, but I have a friend that I'm going to paint it for because he really loves The Screaming Hand by Jim Phillips for Santa Cruz skateboards. But anyhow, the fireproof enclosures have a ventilation system hooked up to them, and you can see that back there, and it's routed up behind the TV and across and down and out the door, out the garage door. So it really, really, really helps keep the fumes down. I've got a web-controlled fan system in here. It's on a smart plug, so I can turn it on anytime. And you can hear that in there. really kicks out some good airflow. So anytime I have the printers running, I can turn that fan on, and it ventilates all the fumes out the door, which is great. Got to have it. So I guess point being is, if you're going to do resin printing, it's really good to have it in a dedicated space like a garage or a shed, where you can control the fumes that come off. I highly recommend that. All right, so washing station. We're going to go ahead and open that up, get the lid off and get it ready. These lightsaber blades have a little bit of a curve to them, but that's easily correctable with a simple blow dryer. We'll just heat up the resin and blow dry that. I have had subscribers point out to me, oh, so you just throw uncured resin away in your trash can and leave it? No, I do not. So this would be like uncured resin, just simple supports. Where'd that go? So what I'll do when I get rid of supports or anything, I put them in the trash. And then just up here, I have a UV light, a very high-powered UV light. And I would take that UV light, turn it on, and I cure any supports that I've thrown away. And just do that like so. I do this every single time I throw supports away or bits of resin. And even my napkins inside here, before I throw them away, I also hit those real hard with the UV light, just to cure any resin on them as best as possible. So I recommend doing that if you're resin printing. So these guys are, doesn't look like they're filled with resin at all, but you can see that curve to them. And all you do is just heat it up with a blow dryer, and then you can kind of bend it back into shape. I would use the table and kind of roll it across. That way, it works well. Looks like there might still be some resin in these. It's hard to tell. And one way to get that out... No. I'm just going to go ahead and rinse these off. I think I lost one in there. Yeah, I did. I lost one. So we get these rinsed off real quick here. Don't forget to hit that like button if you can. Really appreciate it. My algorithm appreciates it. Totally trying to grow this channel. Since I've been on disability, this is something that keeps me going. It's fun. And I love painting. It's really nice to be back into art. I've been drawing and painting my whole life, and was kind of in an artistic standstill for like 20 years until a dear friend of mine, Tahoe Trooper / Eric, turned me on to the wonderful world of 3D printing and painting. Not so much painting, but 3D printing for sure. And here I am now. Love it. Absolutely love it. So once I'm done rinsing stuff, I like to just kind of lean it up against the wall of the tub there to let that, got a nice little napkin holder or paper towel holder right above my workstation so I can easily wipe off. When you get started on 3D printing, everything's kind of chaotic at first, but then you develop a workflow. And mine works from left to right. So the print comes off, it goes into the tub, washes it out, goes back to the tub. I used to have a computer fan up behind here that dried everything off. But now I just have a fan up here that I gotta actually aim over there. There we go. So that fan just circulates air, and because it's alcohol, it dries really fast. So we'll get those dried off. Yeah. Yeah, they look like they don't have any resin left in them. Kind of smoky looking. I'll be sanding these down a little bit with some really fine sandpaper to bring the gloss back, and then putting a gloss coat on them to make them nice and shiny before we paint. Now again, there's used resin in here that's uncured, and I'm in a garage, and I don't want any sunlight getting into this wash station. I discovered that the hard way early on. So what I did was I bought 2 of these tubs. These what are they? Project Source tubs, and I keep the bottom half of another tub on it, and that keeps any sunlight from going in there, screwing that up. All right, so let's just pick a lightsaber blade. Looks good. I've got some compressed air right here, and I'm going to use that to just kind of blow out any other resin. We'll go out to the middle of the garage to do that. So I left an opening at the very tip of the lightsaber here. You probably can't see it. I put a hole in it in the slicer, when I was setting it up to print, so that I could easily drain it and clean it out. And a little tiny drop of clear resin will cover that up. Okay, that's looking good. So we'll just use this one for now. I printed 5 of them so that in case I broke one with my fumbly hands or something, that I would be able to just grab another one. Turn on our UV light. I'm not going to use the curing station. This is plenty right here. So we'll go ahead and cure this guy up real quick. I'm not concerned with any of these other ones getting cured right now. And that's it. We've got a fully cured lightsaber. My shelf is a different height now, so I'm not used to it. All right, so that's ready to go. We'll bring that over to the workbench for straightening. Let's get these guys out of the way here. I'll show you how I get this straightened up. Feel free to leave a comment. Hit the like button. If you guys have any questions or concerns or anything, please feel free. I'm just going to give this lightsaber lightsaber blade a preliminary sanding. This is one of the softer pads that I've got. So on my Dremel tool, I have a little foot pedal. It makes it really handy. And because of fumes and dust and stuff, we're going to open up the garage a little bit. Let some air circulate out of here. Don't want to breathe this stuff. I mean, you know what? I'll put a mask on too. All right. Just a basic mask. I figured if I was going to break one of these blades, this would be when I did it. Cool. All right. Hope everybody's having an awesome day out there. It is a balmy, a chilly 80 degrees out here in Southern California right now. So this is just a standard blow dryer I stole from my wife, literally stole from my wife. And we're going to just heat up this resin a bit, this cured resin, to where it's kind of squishy. And by rolling it on a flat surface while it's warming up, that's going to help straighten it out. Theoretically, I mean, I should say I've never done this before for a 3D printed lightsaber blade, but in theory, that's how it should work. See how that feels. Oh, a little more. I'll take this time to say thank you guys for stopping in. Really appreciate you all, and I really, really hope you guys are having a good start to your new year all across the world. I love you guys, and I especially appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out and see what I'm doing here in the studio. I've been YouTubing now for about a year, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. When I first started this at the suggestion of friends and family, I thought I'd be lucky to even have 10 subscribers, which I was cool with. But now I'm in the 530s, and I really can't thank you guys enough for your subscription and the time you take to come hang out while we're doing this crazy stuff. I hope you learned something from it. I know I've learned a tremendous amount from a lot of my subscribers, just fellow hobbyists out there. And that's what this channel is all about. That's why you don't see my face on camera too much. You know, it's not about me. It's about the love of the build, the love of 3D printing and 3D painting, as it were. Painting our 3D prints. All right, so now it's starting to get kind of soft. I can feel it's getting a little more bendy. Oop, come here. Come here. Trying to run away from me there. All right, that's pretty soft now. So I'm going to take it off this surface because it's pretty warm. And I'm just blowing on it to cool it down as I'm rolling it across the table. Theoretically, that's going to straighten the blade out so it doesn't have that curvature that it had when it came off the printer. And the theory is that we're going to have a nice smooth lightsaber tube when we're done. And I think that worked. Oh yeah, that's nice and straight now compared to the way it was. Put a little bit of weight on it to keep it down for a moment. Cool. I think that worked out nicely. I hope. Right. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Now, I appreciate you guys hitting the like button and hanging out with me. So we're gonna get one of our LED noodles here. Oops, getting in the way. Yep, we'll just bring it over to the desk. All right. I can't remember which ones are the blue ones. I think it was these ones. Now, these LED noodles I got on Alipay, or what? Yeah, Alipay, I think it is. It's a Chinese site. It's about the only place in the world I could find these single-ended LED noodles. So these have both positive and negative on one end instead of on each end. And what that means is that they're cuttable. So you can trim this to whatever size you want. That being said, I wanted to be able to insert this into the noodle or into the lightsaber blade like so. Now, if you ever make a lightsaber yourself, if you 3D print one thing I learned was that you don't want to orient your lightsaber this way in your printer. You want them to stand them up. And the reason why is because little supports will build up on the inside of the tube. And you don't want that. You want to be able to just slide that noodle right up in there without having to break supports out and stuff. So this is actually the second run of lightsaber blades I made. Because the first run I did, I had supports inside of them. So that's the blade with the noodle in it. Let's see if we can light one up. I want to see it. I'm sure you guys want to see it. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. This is going to be a pain in the ass. I know that, but we're going to try it out anyways. Because you got to see how cool it looks. It gives you a really good idea of how the blade is going to light up. Closest garage door here. Chat is so quiet today. What is up, friends? What are you guys up to today? How was your week? How's the new year been for you so far? Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about something. Okay, let's see. I don't know which one's positive or negative. They're not marked, so we're just going to play with these wires until we get something. Don't cross the streams. That's a Ghostbusters reference for some of you. Maybe that's got the power on. I just have to play with these until I get them correct. Oh, can't even see that. There we go. Now, I've noticed that a couple of these blades I bought, I couldn't get them to work, so it's very possible that this is one of them. Wait, you know what I'm seeing? A little teeny tiny hole. Let's flip this over. Maybe these are marked. I'm seeing like a little tiny hole in one of them. Ah, there we go. So black, red and black. Red goes on the spot with the little hole. Okay. Turn this light off. Here we go. Let's see how this looks. If I can hold it steady enough, we can get a good solid blue light out of it. Of course, now I can't see. Come on, you bastard. Come on. I just need a good steady light to turn on for a minute so I can show my fans, show my subscribers this cool lightsaber. There it is. So they're really bright. Obviously the light will be steady like that. But that's the lightsaber blade. So we're going to trim off about that much of it, and then we're going to solder those 2 points on. Oh, that's so cool looking. That's so cool. What do you guys think? But yeah, we'll be trimming off that amount so that it fits perfectly on into the tube. And then we're going to add some, we're going to gloss this up, and I'll be painting it a very transparent blue so that the lightsaber is still blue even when it's not lit up. I think I need to add a lightsaber sound to the maybe another soundboard that only plays the lightsaber sound. That is so cool looking. Good news is I also bought some other LED noodles of this type in different colors. So I have red, green, blue, and yellow. I think it's a yellow or an orange. So I can do some different lightsabers if we do another Star Wars model. But isn't that cool looking? What do you guys think? And then that's our on and off switch. See if I can hold that steady enough here. Oh, come on, baby. Come on, don't fail me now. There we go. Come on. You get the idea. So, very cool. I'm super pleased with how that's going to look. So that's our on and off switch. Make sure I turn it off so I'm not ruining battery. But yeah. That's what that's doing. All right. Okay. All right, now, before I get to the painting part, go ahead and pull our noodle out there. And I've got some gloss clear paint back here. And we're going to just give this a quick primer coat with some gloss clear before we paint the before we actually paint the color onto the lightsaber blade. Nothing fancy, just an old rattle can. Shaky, shaky. All right. Open up a garage door here. My wife will be home in a couple hours, and I'm sure she'll still smell this. So this gloss coat is just going to make this nice and shiny looking. And I'll just set that aside up here for it to dry. So we'll just let that guy dry like that. I got some good airflow in here right now, so shouldn't be long. But that's about it for that part today. Slow day. Jerry, I was just saying how slow it was today. What's up, dude? I'm back, man. Oh, I'm gonna have to give you a tour all over again. Did you miss the lightsaber lighting up? I just finished lighting up the lightsaber with the LED noodle. I pulled the blades out of the printer and tested out one of the noodles there with the electronic piece. It was a pain in the ass. And then I've got the lightsaber blade. Well, it's drying right now. I just put a gloss clear coat on it. One idea I had to make it look like the blade was kind of like shimmery was maybe putting some UV resin on it and kind of manipulating it a little bit to make the blade look like like it was kind of shimmery when the LED turns on. It looks really cool though. So we'll dry that right there. Let me see. I'll try and show you real quick. Hopefully, maybe we'll get lucky and I can do it really quick. I got another blade over here that I haven't painted. I printed like 5 of them. And then I'll give you a quick tour of the new studio setup. It's looking pretty sick. All right, we got to turn the lights off for this to get the full effect. But before we do that, let's put the LED noodle in. I found out you got to print lightsaber blades straight up and down. Otherwise, you get supports on the inside. So when you print a lightsaber blade, print it straight up and down. And then you'll just have you'll have some supports on the bottom holding it up. It's kind of funky. I used a hair dryer to straighten this one out. And then once I got it nice and flimsy, I just rolled it on the table while I blew on it to get it to straighten out. So that's how I did that. And then, the noodle fits fantastic. So what I did is I went into my slicer and I just made really thin walls. I think it was like 1.5 millimeter wall or something like that. And it slides perfectly up there. In fact, it comes out the other end because I put a drainage hole on the other side. And on these little single-ended LED noodles that, in fact, I think you're the one that found these for me, right? On Alipay? Yeah. So I realized when you look really, really close, there's a little tiny dot on one. And that's where your red wire goes. Is that shows how much I know, or don't know, I should say, about electrical shit. I don't even know if red's positive and black's negative or whatever. So once we get this situated here, okay, it wants to do that. I got to get this positioned right so I can hold it down. It's close enough. Okay. No, it's not close enough. I told you it was a pain in the ass. The other blade is straight. There we go. Okay. So this is the power box for the lightsaber blade that I put together. Let's close the garage door. Turn our light off here. Now, if all goes well, this sucker will light up like a Christmas tree. Yeah, they are cuttable. I just haven't trimmed one yet. Of course, I can't see what I'm doing now. There we go. Look at that. And then we got our switch here. Boom. They are bright. And it looks so cool inside the blade. The blade actually has kind of like a ribby looking look. Yeah, right? It's super bright. I actually thought about attaching a dimmer to it, but I'm like, you know what? Nah. I want this thing, because a lot of people are going to see this thing in daylight or subdued lighting somewhat. So the brighter it is, the better. But yeah, how cool is that, man? And what I really like too is it lights up things around it. So when you turn this on at night, it's going to be like a little night light. You know, it's going to be really nice and bright. It's going to illuminate things around it. You'll see the rest of the model really well, or parts of the model. Kind of like how they did in, was it the Ahsoka series or the Obi Wan Kenobi series? How they used practical light on the set with the lightsaber blades, so that they actually illuminated Anakin and Obi and stuff during their lightsaber battles. We'll have that ambient lighting, that real, actual ambient lighting. But yeah, isn't that cool looking? The switch works great. So, yeah. Now, that makes you want to print a model I'm getting from... Oh, which one did you get? Asajj Ventress carries 2 lightsabers, and then there's also... I actually just signed up for Abe 3D. That guy does some great work. And I love that his models are all in 1/4 scale, because I do want to do some bigger stuff this year. But yeah, I'm super excited about how well these work. Oh, should be released today? I don't know. I'm going to have to check my Patreon. Because I know some of his past models, he's got Asajj Ventress, who's a dual lightsaber wielder. And then, of course, Ahsoka Tano. I'm trying to think of who else. I think those are the only female dual lightsaber wielders that I can think of. If anybody else can think of another dual lightsaber wielding female in the Star Wars universe, please feel free to share. It is Asajj Ventress. Okay, she's badass. I loved her in the Clone Wars. Very tormented character. I'm just putting this noodle away. All right. Oh, I don't know why I took my neck rig off, because I gotta give you the live studio tour. Yeah, with 1/4 scale, I think those noodles, you have to see. I don't know. The first thing I would do is probably print the lightsaber blades to see how big they are, how long they are, to determine the length that you're going to need. I would say just go with like the 7-inch version of the cuttable LEDs. I think they had a 7-inch. It was like a 3, 5, and 7-inch, or an 8-inch version. I don't recall exactly from when I ordered it. Okay. Go back to the chat. Yeah, like I said, I just recently signed up for Abe 3D. I want to do more female characters, and I want to do more 1/4 scale. After, well, Spider Gwen, that was an Abe 3D model that I got from Kenny over at Hobby Link International. She was a pain in the ass, even though she was 1/4 scale, but still fun to paint. I had a lot of fun doing her. And Abe does some really good. His keys are fantastic. Absolutely. Whoever does the keys, I don't know if he does them himself, but they're fantastic. His parts fit together really, really, really nicely. So yeah, let me just make some adjustments here, and then I'll give you the live studio tour. We've upgraded some shit in the studio. I've still got some work to do in the garage part of the studio, but it's really coming together nicely, I must say. Let me just get that set up real quick. The best way to do it is with my handheld steady guy. Hook this up here. My DJI Osmo. There we go. Oops. Oh, bear with me. All right, we're back. Okay. So, studio time. Let's check it out. All right. So, my wife got me a ton of new paints for Christmas. And I ordered some paint holders and stuff, so I got most of my paints up on the pegboard now. At least all my Vallejos up there, along with the Citadels. Still have some Citadels left to put up, and then of course some Pro Acryl up there. Still on the fence about Pro Acryl paints. Just personal opinion. Maybe it's just the set. I'm not super thrilled about them yet, but I'm still giving them a chance. I'm still going to be using them, especially for the price. I'm definitely going to use them. But generally, overall, the workbench is still the same. So there's that monitor and everything. And what I wound up doing was basically dismantling everything in the studio and reconfiguring. Workbench is still or the 3D print bench is still the same. I was able to move all my diorama products and shit off of that up there. And I've got some other prints I've done sitting up here. And then I hit up a friend of mine that I had sold my Cobra 2 Max to and asked him if he was still using it and how he was doing with it. And he said, well, actually, I want to get a new 3D printer that does like multicolor. I was like, oh, cool. Well, since you're doing that, what are you going to do with the Cobra 2? So, well, I'll sell it back to you if you want. I said, sure. So I bought it back from my buddy. And of course, Cobra 2 Max is a friggin' massive printer. So yeah, the wash and cure station's pretty much the same. And then I've got some the shelf is up here is a little higher now. So there's that. But anyhow, I had to order another workbench, and I spent about 3 hours yesterday calibrating. I mean, the calibration on this thing was so far off. I don't know if he threw it against a wall or something in frustration. Just trying to get it set up. But yeah, I spent about 3 hours calibrating yesterday. Finally got a few test prints out. You can see I was using the Sharpie to number them so I could keep track of the better quality. And there it is. And of course, the footprint on this thing is so huge, I had to put a separate board down here to extend out to accommodate for the footprint this thing requires for the X and Y movement. And what I decided to go ahead and print, you know me, go big or go home. Wicked 3D came out with a bitchin' Hellboy model this month or last month, and I went ahead and downloaded that. And I figured, why not try and print the entire base just in full in FDM? I'm on the fence about it, but I'm at least going to print the main part of the base. All the accoutrements and everything that go on the base, like the gargoyles or whatever is going on, that's all going to be printed in resin. But the main part of the base that holds everything together, yeah, I decided to go ahead and do like a really strong infill on it instead of real light, because I wanted to have some heft to it to hold everything down, because the resin can get a little heavy. So, yep, that's what I'm printing now. That's been going since yesterday. Yeah, the FDM is certainly much, much slower. I almost forgot. It's like I had to retrain myself how to use FDM. You have the Hellboy too. Yeah. Yeah, I have Berserk as well. I finally signed up for them. It's same, dude. I don't think I'm ever gonna like not be signed up to them. They're just absolutely fantastic. Oh, and I took this. This is the light that's supposed to go on the top end of the workbench, but I didn't put that on there because it's too tall or too short for my shelf space. So I just strapped the light on to the printer itself, which is really nice. And then I got my my tool chest and everything is finally sitting there. So that's really nice. And then my little airbrush slash workstation here, I can, this rolls. It's mobile. So I can, oh yeah, it was too dark. And I was just like, man, what am I going to do? And then I remembered like, oh shit, my new workbench has a light. So this table that is mobile fits perfectly right here in between my tool chest and the printer, and it's got enough space. I just have to move. I had to move this back a little bit, but it's got enough space for the bed to do its thing. And then I've got a little web camera that I can hook up. Well, it is hooked up, and I just been setting the web camera up like that, so I can monitor the print while I'm upstairs or whatever. I'm hooked up to the Anycubic app, so I can check the print from my phone and everything, which is a really nice little plus. But yeah, it's coming together. Give you the full scope of it here. So that's the whole studio now. It's really, really spacious and comfortable. It's got a good workflow. As I was like doing the final touches and stuff, I still have a couple final touches to it, but yeah, it's got a really nice workflow. It's not entirely different from what I had going before here in the garage studio, but yeah, it works. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I got my photo box there now. Eventually, I think I still want to put another. I may buy another one of these workbenches and set that up right here instead of having these legs. I would prefer to have storage space like I have here in this area. And then I would have just like a nice wash and cure station with a backsplash, aka pegboard. So that's probably going to be in the works too. And I future-proofed the shelf. I set it up high enough to where if and when I do get another workbench like this, they'll fit together nice and neat, and I won't have to move. I won't have to reconfigure my entire garage to figure that out. It's ready to go. And I've got the space, perfect amount of space set up right there. So I'd still have my wash and cure station, and everything will just fit right perfectly in there. So yeah, I'll have 3 of those workbenches set up, and it'll be a nice, neat little area. I'll be stoked on it. In fact, I'm pretty sure I just talked myself into buying another workbench to doing that. So that's where I'm at with all this. Oh, I will, dude. I know they were selling them at Harbor Freight forever. Like it's basically a Harbor Freight workbench. I got it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description for anybody who wants these workbenches. They're fantastic. They come with 2 drawers. The first time you put one together, it's probably, if you do it by yourself, it's probably going to take you about 4 hours. But because I've already put one together, I kind of had a really good idea of how to do it. But follow the instructions. And I'll tell you, both times I put it together, I know I did it right. I followed the instructions, but I wound up with a shit ton of nuts and bolts left over from the build. Let me see if I can find those. Now they're stuck back there. But anyways, I wound up with a lot of extra stuff. This is the shelf that comes with, it goes on top of the workbench, and that's the light that comes with the shelf. So if you want, you can install the shelf inside there, or you can install the light inside there. I didn't do that. Oh yeah, I got some LEDs up there too. I actually accidentally cut one of the LEDs, so I'm going to order a new one. Let's stick that back up in there. So originally I had an LED strip going all the way across here, and then it curled up and then went underneath this shelf, which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, but I will post the link in the description for that workbench. It was $150 total, so really good price. The box weighs about 80 pounds. This is the box. Whenproducts.com if you want to order direct from them, but I would just get it on Amazon. It's $150. I think it came in 2 days. 80-pound box, so it's pretty heavy. Use a hand truck. Use a hand truck or something to move it around. But yeah, so I will definitely post the link in the description. But yep, there's the whole studio. Pretty stoked on it. Yeah. Have a gander, everyone. So yeah, I'm super stoked. Yep, I'm gonna have to order another workbench now. Next pay period. Got to pay bills this week, so. And I think I was saying, if you do it the first time you put one together by yourself, it's going to take you about 4 hours. It took me about probably 2.5 hours the second time around, because I already knew I wasn't going to put the shelf on it. Oops. I already knew I wasn't going to put the upper shelf on it because it doesn't work with my setup. And so I didn't need to bother putting all that part together. And then, so yeah, it goes faster your second time around. Reposition here. So yeah, it's good to be back. It took me, I made a YouTube short saying that it was only going to take me like a day or two to accomplish this project. Well, I completely underestimated how long it was going to take me. So I know in the future, if I make a short or something saying that something's going to take me a day or two, probably tack on 2 days to 2 weeks to whatever I tell you, depending on how involved it is. Oh, but yeah, it's really nice to be back in here and playing around. So now that this gloss coat is dry for the lightsaber, I can go ahead and it's ready to be airbrushed. So I should be able to do that tomorrow. My wife found out, unfortunately, her aunt passed away. So I'm not going to take too much. Her aunt passed away today. I believe she's on her way home right now. So I'm going to spend some time with the wife today. be the good husband, spend time with her. Who knows though? She might smack me and tell me to get away. She might just want to watch TV and do nothing. I don't know. Yeah, me too. She wasn't super close to her aunt, but this is her dad's sister, and I think more than anything, she probably feels bad for her father. Oh yeah, my next door neighbor. No, I won't get off track with that. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have so much work to do on Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga, and not enough time to get to it today. So this is about as far as I'm going to get as far as the studio tour and just catching up with everybody and letting you know what I've been up to this last month. Um, I've had some difficulty with medical record stuff. It's getting all that situated. Um, my wife is going to be she's going to be going back into the workforce pretty quick here, and she just started school. So we really just been busy from the holidays through the new year, and now my medical stuff, and her aunt passing away. So it's taken me away from the studio, and which is not a bad thing. You got to take time for your family, of course. Got to take time for yourself and make sure you're healthy. I've been in a tremendous amount of pain. So that's been difficult for me to be down here working on things in the studio. I'm feeling a little better now. So I got some pain stuff situated. I've got a surgeon. I've got a neurosurgeon appointment next month for my neck, and we're waiting for new insurance to kick in. Yeah, December was crazy. I did have some relief. They give me the good stuff, so there's that, and it definitely helps. But I'm still not. I get maybe between 3 and 6 hours of sleep a night, so I'm pretty exhausted most of the time. But I'm working on it. I got 2 shoulder surgeries coming up, and a neck surgery. They're either going to put new discs in my neck, or they're going to be talking about fusion. I haven't even had the appointment with the neurosurgeon yet, though. So until he sees my MRIs and everything, and my X-rays, I just got to wait to hear from him and see what he thinks. But in the meantime, I'm going to be working on projects as much as possible. Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga will be done in 2026, and I'm going to do some. I'm definitely going to do Hellboy from Wicked 3D, and Jerry, you downloaded Asajj Ventress. I'm going to definitely be doing one or more of Abe 3D's Star Wars characters. I know for a fact I'm not doing Darth Talon, though. Unless somebody commissions me to do Darth Talon, I will not do Darth Talon again. And if and when I do Darth Talon, I will only be doing her in 1/4 scale, because those tattoos on her are brutal. Yeah, I have a couple of his models. I just became a member, so I don't have access to all of them. But we can talk about that later, Jerry. we can definitely discuss that later. I, I definitely would like to get more of Abe 3D's models, if you know what I mean. One cool addition to the studio that I like is Han Solo's little sabacc dice that he had hanging up in the Millennium Falcon. My neighbor gifted me these. They're very heavy. They feel like solid gold. Super cool. So those are hanging on the workbench light now. So I thought that was a fun little addition to the studio. I was telling everybody earlier, last year, 2025, I took part in the Halloween group build, the 2025 Halloween group build through Hobby Link International. And some of you guys might remember Mr. Jack Skellington Pumpkinhead that I did. This was for the Halloween build, and as part of the memorial build for Boyd Crompton he passed away. He was a friend of Kenny's, and everyone's there at Hobby Link, and he makes a commemorative coin, and I thought that was really cool. I didn't know Boyd. Sounds like an amazing dude. He was a big Star Trek fan. That was his YouTube page, or his YouTube channel was Trekworks. I'm assuming you can still go out and check out his channel. But it says take care out there and happy modeling, everyone. I guess that was something Boyd would say every time he ended a live stream or whatever on his channel. It comes out, but I'm going to leave it in the protective case there. But what a cool memorial, man. And I'll give you guys a sneak peek of this year's 2026 Halloween build that I'm going to be doing for Hobby Link International. She's pretty cool. I still got to print the rest of it. I haven't cleaned any of it up or anything. This is just totally the rough print. But this is going to be the one I do this year. This little sexy witch riding a broom. Really cool model. I got this off of Colts. I do not recall the name of the maker. I haven't taken any of the supports off or anything yet. Still got a lot of work to do on that, but she's going to be fun. So I'll be doing that for this year's Halloween build. And it sets up like that, I guess. I think she's on like a pedestal or something. I may do something different. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's going to be my Halloween build for this year. So she's cool. But yeah, that's really about all I got today. Been pretty it's pretty exciting for me to have my FDM printer back. I was away from it for quite some time. I don't know, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. It's been about a year since I touched any FDM printing. So that was a whole learning curve. I had to relearn pretty much yesterday. I started digging into that once I got it set up, and I'd pretty much forgotten most of it. And so I spent about 3 hours just calibrating the machine with some test prints and stuff. And then once I finally got the right squish on the print bed, I was like, all right, let's go big. So I decided, I'm definitely going to be doing Hellboy this year by Wicked. And so I figured let's just print the base in its entirety and start with that and see how we do. And it's printing perfectly so far as I can tell. So I'm pretty excited to see how that turns out and what kind of prep I'm going to have to do. One of the reasons why I stopped FDM printing with models and stuff is because of layer lines. None of us like sanding that much, as far as I know. And I really fucking hate sanding. And so I'm giving it a go. We'll see what happens. But now, that being said, how is everybody doing? Looks like we've got 2 or 3 other people watching in the chat right now. Everybody's been quiet except you today. I'm missing... we're missing a few of our regulars. Hope everybody's doing well. I don't know where Jen's at. She might not have gotten the memo today. She seems to miss the memos. It's been so long since I did a live stream anyways. I don't blame anybody for kind of giving up. My subscriber count keeps going up, so I guess I'm doing something right. Somebody's enjoying my videos. So thank you guys. I totally appreciate all the love and support. And it's good to be back into it. I'm going to try to get back in here tomorrow to. I've got to start cutting into part of the base and routing, getting the route for the wires done. That's going to be the first part. Essentially, I've realized that what's got to happen with Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga is that I have to get the wiring completed. All the wiring's got to be like kind of set up and routed before I can really get to work or paint anything. So once that's all done, I can finally get that going. Like I have to get the routes done, and then I can start painting everything once I know all the cavities are carved out that need to be, so I can run the wires properly and everything. So that's what I'll be working on, is getting all that done. And then once that's done, I think we're going to pretty much start putting Boga together and start getting her painted. Got to do some post prep, sanding, gap filling, figuring out the scales, how to fill in the scales. I got this texture roller I'm going to try out. I think this is the one. No, is this it? Yeah, these are the scales, I think. So we'll put like a 2-part epoxy putty down, like a modeling putty, and then just roll this over that, and hopefully it'll give us a good match on the actual printed scales. So this will be fun to play with. And then, yeah. Well, trying to think of anything else. Can you guys think of anything else I'm missing? Hit that like button. I know that. Like, please hit the like button. I want you all to have a nice day. Really appreciate the likes. I love the subscribes. Really appreciate you guys all taking your time to hang out with me and check out these crazy projects we do. If you have any questions or concerns, or just want to leave a comment of any sort, please feel free. We can talk about anything but politics or religion. I kind of treat this channel like going to your favorite bar. We don't talk about politics or religion. Again, that's why I don't show my face really on the channel. It's because it's not about me. It's about you guys. It's about our love for the hobby. It's about 3D printing. It's about painting, and not just 3D printing world either. I don't care what kind of modeling you're in. If you're really into building cars and motorcycles and stuff, Lego, I don't care. We can talk about that here. It's all game, as long as it's a fun hobby that we all enjoy, and that's all that matters. No politics, no religion, hobbies only. So yeah, and not my face. My face does slip in there oftentimes, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I'll try to do better. But yeah, that's all I got. Nobody? No one? Anyone? Oh, we got some likes today. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't broken any cameras or phones showing my face on my channel yet. Been lucky so far. Just kidding. I'm actually like dreadfully handsome. Jerry knows. Jerry knows. It's not that bad. I appreciate you, man. It's another reason why I'm kind of like, I gotta stop streaming today, is because it's 80 fucking degrees outside, and that means that the inside of my garage is like 90 degrees, and it's brutal, and I don't like it. Like when it's this hot, I can't work in here. Well, I can work up to a certain time, and then the sun's just baking on my garage door, and I'm gonna die. So yeah, this live stream today is just kind of like intro to 2026. I'm back. I'm still alive, somewhat, and we're doing stuff. So things are cruising along. Trying to think of anything else. I got to go buy bottled water with my wife today. Yeah, I'm kind of I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. Maybe my pain meds are kicking in or something. I don't know. Trying to think of anything else. So yeah, projects this year: Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga. That's number one. Hellboy by Wicked 3D. That's another one we're gonna do. We're gonna do a couple models from Abe 3D. Probably some Star Wars stuff. That, you know what? That's something I could do. If anybody watches this far into it later, leave a suggestion of something you'd like to see me paint. That could help out some content for this year. Something to print and paint other than Hellboy. So Hellboy's out. Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga's out because those are already going to get done. Any Star Wars character from Abe 3D, except for Darth Talon, and plus Kenny over at Hobby Link International. He did a really good. He did a really good Darth Talon, and Kenny said the same thing too. Her tattoos are fucking brutal. That'd be great. Yeah, leave them in the comments, dude. I'd love suggestions. So yeah, no Obi Wan Kenobi, no Darth Talon, no Hellboy. But you can pick any Star Wars character from Abe 3D. So it's going to be female because that's all Abe does, as far as I know. I think all he does is females, which is awesome. So we're going to do some women honor this year for sure. We're gonna power up for the women out there. We love you. We love you, gals. Appreciate you. You women are amazing. Maybe that'll be a theme this year. Other than Obi Wan Kenobi and Hellboy, we'll just do women for the rest of the year. I mean, printing and painting women. That sounded bad. But yeah, any suggestions you have, please post them in the comments section. And in the meantime, I'll leave links in the description for the workbenches and anything else I can think of here in my studio that's kind of helped bring this all together. That's all I can think of right now. I don't know. Oh, let's get sludgy in there. I saw a mug I really liked. I think it said something to the effect of like, "Don't talk to me until I've had my paint water." And I thought that was great. Oh yeah, this is the bottom of my mug. My paint water mug. It's like, "Have a nice day." Ew, sludgy. Oh. I was trying to think before I end the live stream if there's anything else I can think of. Yeah, I don't know. I hope everybody's having a bitchin' start to their new year. I hope your healthcare insurance is. I hope your healthcare insurance premiums aren't changing. I know mine are, and I'm not fucking happy about it. I don't need to get into who we can thank for that shit, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's all I can think of, guys. I love you guys. I do. I'm really brainstorming here. I should have thought this out better. Well, who the fuck am I kidding? I never think about what the hell I'm going to do other than the project I'm working on when I come into the studio. So, just winging it as usual. But yeah, I love you guys. And as I always like to say, happy 3D printing, happy painting. Have a nice day. stay out of trouble, don't do anything stupid, and stay alive. I want to see you guys all throughout the year. And yeah, Jerry, thanks for hanging out, man. I love you, brother. Really appreciate you, man. And look out for the links in the description. Thanks for stopping by. Happy 3D printing and happy painting, everyone. We'll see you soon. Toodles.